Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, should I use say or tell? Many English learners feel confused about these two words. They look simple, very simple, but in real conversation, they can make you hesitate. You start a sentence, and then you stop. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Hi everyone, welcome back to Learn English Podcast 360. Today, we will make it clear. Not complicated. Not full of grammar rules. Just clear ideas and real examples. By the end of this video, you will know exactly when to use say and when to use tell. And you will feel more confident when you speak. So let's begin. Let's start with the main idea. We use say when we focus on the words. We care about the message. We care about the sentence. We do not focus on the person who listens. When we use say, our attention is on what someone says. The words are the important part. Here is the basic pattern.
Say something.
Say a word. Say hello. Say thank you.
Say sorry.
Now, let's look at simple examples. I say hello every morning. She says thank you.
He says sorry.
They say goodbye. Notice something. After say, we usually talk about the words. Hello. Thank you.
Sorry.
Goodbye. We are focusing on the expression. Now, let's make the sentences a little longer. She says she is tired. He says he likes English. I say I am ready. They say they are happy. Again, what is important here? The message. She is tired. He likes English. I am ready. We care about the sentence that is spoken. Now here is something very important. After say, we usually do not put a person directly after the verb. For example, we say, she says hello to me. But we do not say, she says me hello. That sounds wrong in English. If we want to mention the listener, the person usually comes after the message, often with the word to. For example,
she says hello to me.
He says thank you to his teacher. I say good morning to my neighbor. They say goodbye to their friends. So the structure is first the message, then the listener with the word to. But very often, we do not even mention the listener. We simply focus on the words. She says she is tired. He says he needs help. I say it is a good idea. So here is the key idea for say. We use say when we focus on the words someone speaks. The message is the center of attention. Now, let's talk about tell. This is where many learners feel confused. So, let's go slowly and clearly. The main idea is this. We use tell when we focus on giving information to someone. There is always a person who receives the information. With tell, the listener is very important. Here is the basic pattern. Tell someone something. You can remember it like this. First, the person. Then, the information. Let's look at some examples. I tell you the truth. She tells me her name. He tells us a story. They tell her the answer. We tell them the news. Notice something important. After tell, we must have a person.
Tell me.
Tell him.
Tell her.
Tell us. Tell them. If there is no person, the sentence usually sounds incomplete. For example, we say, she tells me the news. But we do not usually say, she tells the news. That sounds strange because we are missing a listener. Tell needs someone who receives the information. Now, let's look at more natural examples. My teacher tells us the homework assignment. My friend tells me a secret. I tell my parents my plan. She tells her sister the truth. He tells his boss the problem. In all of these sentences, there is a person after tell.
Tell us. Tell me.
Tell my parents. Tell her sister. Tell his boss. This is the structure you should remember.
Tell someone something.
Now let's think about the meaning again. With tell, we are giving information to someone. There is communication between two people. The listener is part of the sentence. So here is the key idea for tell. We use tell when we talk about giving information to a person. The listener is important. Now let's compare say and tell slowly and clearly. Sentence 1. She says sorry. This is correct. Why? Because we focus on the word sorry. It is a short expression. We care about the word she speaks. Now look at this sentence. She tells me sorry. This sounds wrong in normal English. Why? Because tell usually needs information, not just one short word like sorry. We do not normally use tell with short expressions like hello, sorry, or thank you. We usually use say. Now, let's look at another example. She tells me the truth. This is correct. Why? Because we have a person, me, and information, the truth. This fits the pattern.
Tell someone something.
Now look at the sentence. She says me the truth. This is not correct. After say, we do not put the person directly after the verb. If we want to use say, we would say, she says that it is true. But in natural English, we more often say, she tells me the truth. Now, let's look at another pair of sentences. He says he is busy. He tells me he is busy. Both sentences can be correct, but the structure changes. In the first sentence, we focus on the words, he is busy. We do not mention the listener. In the second sentence, we focus on the person who receives the information, me. He tells me he is busy. The meaning is very similar, but the structure is different. This is important. Sometimes, both say and tell are possible, but the grammar pattern changes. With say, we focus on the message. With tell, we focus on giving information to someone. Understanding this difference will help you avoid common mistakes. You will stop saying things like, she said me, he told sorry, and instead you will say,
she told me,
he said sorry.
Clear.
Simple. Logical. In the next part of this video, we will continue with more real-life situations and also briefly look at the past forms, said and told, so you can feel confident using these verbs in everyday conversation. But for now, remember the core difference. We use say when we focus on the words that are spoken. We use tell when we give information to a person. Once you understand this idea, everything becomes much easier. Now let's see how say and tell work in real life. Because in real conversation, we often use both words in the same situation. And when you hear them naturally, the difference becomes even clearer. Let's start with school. At school, the teacher tells us the answer. She says the answer clearly. Do you notice the difference? When we say, the teacher tells us the answer, we focus on the students. We focus on the people who receive the information.
Tell us.
There is a listener. But when we say, she says the answer clearly, we focus on the words. We focus on how she speaks. Now, let's look at another school example. The teacher tells me the homework. She says, please finish it tonight. In the first sentence, she gives information to me. In the second sentence, we focus on the exact words. Both are natural. Both are correct. But the structure changes. Now, let's move to home. At home, my mother tells me a story. She says good night before I sleep. Again, what is happening? When she tells me a story, I am the listener.
Tell me.
There is a person who receives the information. But when she says good night, we focus on the words good night. It is a short expression. We do not say, she tells good night. That does not sound natural. We say, she says good night. Now another example at home. I tell my parents my plan. They say, it is a good idea. In the first sentence, I give information to my parents. In the second sentence, we focus on the message. It is a good idea. Now, let's look at work. At work, my boss tells me the plan. He says the meeting is at 3. In the first sentence, he gives information to me. Tell me the plan. In the second sentence, we focus on the message. The meeting is at 3. Let's try another work example. My coworker tells me about the problem. She says it is urgent. Again, tell is used with the person. Say is used with the message. Now, let's look at everyday conversation. In conversation, I tell my friend my problem. She says she understands. First, I give information to my friend. Then she speaks words. Another example. He tells me a joke. I say that it is funny. Tell someone a joke.
Say something about it.
In real life, we often use both words in the same conversation. For example, my friend tells me some news. He says he is moving to another city. First, he gives me information. Then we focus on the exact words. So, remember this. In real life, the difference between say and tell is small. But it is important. Say usually focuses on the message. Tell usually focuses on giving information to someone. When you listen carefully, you will start to notice this pattern again and again. Now let's talk briefly about the past. In real life, we often talk about yesterday, last week, or last year. So we need past forms. In the past, say becomes said. Tell becomes told. The pronunciation changes, but the rule does not change. The structure stays the same. The logic stays the same. For example, she said hello. She told me the news. In the first sentence, we focus on the word hello. In the second sentence, we focus on giving information to a person, me. Another example. He said he was tired. He told me he was tired. The structure is still the same. With said, we focus on the message. With told, we include the listener.
We do not say,
he said me he was tired. That is not correct. We say, he told me he was tired. So remember, only the verb form changes. Say becomes said. Tell becomes told. The logic does not change. Do not worry too much about grammar rules right now. Just remember the pattern. Now, let's practice together. This is very important. Please repeat after me. Speak slowly. Speak clearly. I say thank you. She tells me her name. He says he is tired. They tell us the truth. She says hello to her friend. He tells me a story. Now let's try a few more. I say I am ready. She tells us the answer. He says good morning.
They tell me the plan.
Very good. Repetition builds confidence. The more you repeat correct sentences, the more natural they feel. When you speak, your brain remembers patterns. And these patterns help you speak automatically. Now, let's review. We use say when we focus on the words, sentences, or expressions that are spoken. We use tell when we give information to a person. Say focuses on the message. Tell focuses on the listener. Say hello.
Say sorry.
Say thank you. Tell me the truth. Tell her the story. Tell us the news. If you sometimes confuse them, that is normal. Every English learner makes this mistake at first. But now you understand the difference. And understanding gives you confidence. When you understand the logic, you do not need to guess. You simply follow the pattern. Say for words, sentences, or expressions. Tell for a person plus information.
Keep practicing. Keep speaking.
Do not be afraid to make small mistakes. Every time you speak, you are improving. Your English is growing step by step. If you want more simple, real English like this, subscribe to Learn English Podcast 360. We are here to make English easier, clearer, and part of your daily life. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.